a gaming podcast where we battle our backlog, revealing what is worth your time, money, and energy. And this is episode 33. I'm Shelby Stokes, and on the cast today, it's Shelby and Casey Cool.
Hey.
The dynamic duo today, huh? Just you and I?
So yeah, we made it, dude. You were alive.
We made it.
Somehow.
We actually made it. It was close. There was almost death upon us. But hey, here we are. It's a beautiful thing.
I hope that ages well.
And the good news is we can hide in video games and ignore the real world.
Yeah, that's the perfect escape. That's why everyone's here. Talk philosophical, talk philosophies on games.
A philosophizer. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of good games out there.
This is the best time to play video games, I'd say.
Yeah.
There's so many games.
I've heard that. I've heard that somewhere.
Shout out to Vinny.
So what's been going on? Are you just like living the dream? Or are you dadding up hard?
Dadding up hard, as per usual. My son is... Well, I'll get into the gaming here, I guess. My son is on the moon in Mario Odyssey. So I've been playing Mario Odyssey again because my son wanted to play it. What it turns into is he's actually killed a couple bosses. There's been pretty big moments in the house. It's been a stellar week for my son. He's made it to the final boss in Mario, and he read a book all by himself out loud. It's been like a couple milestones for me. And then for Halloween, he was Ash Ketchum. So I've reached my apex of parenting. There's no much. I'm done at this point. He's just going to raise himself.
Yeah, I think you can retire at this point. Like your kid dressed up as Ash, then you're good to go.
Can I tell you what we do with my kid?
What?
So we have a choice. They can keep the candy, or they can keep 3 pieces and donate the rest to like a food bank or my wife's work for when like people come and eat the candy out of it, or for us to eat that night at nighttime, and they get a toy instead. They always choose the toy.
Is that right?
And we call it the Candy Fairy, and his name's Steve, and he has really bad teeth, and he rides a donkey named Freckles.
So then what do you do with the candy?
I usually pick what I like, and then I tell my wife to take the rest of the work, like because I had horrendous heartburn from all the sugar I ate this weekend.
Yeah, that is totally understandable. I mean, I was the same way for a while.
Yeah. I saw your family had a cute little photo shoot you did some family pics.
Yeah, we had a friend in town, and we definitely went to a beach and took some pictures with the kiddos. Mm-hmm. And I guess they turned out. They were good little pictures. I don't know. Going to photo shoots is just so awkward.
Yeah.
It's like, go out here and act candid but happy. Yeah. You know, like you never do in real life.
Well, my candid is never happy, ma'am. Like that's usually
right.
If you want candid, you need confused, hungry. Those would probably be my go-to looks.
Right, exactly. Or just kind of like, okay, how are we going to get through the day with it while entertaining the kids? Yeah. But no, it's like, oh yeah, here's a brief smile left and right. It's crazy.
Yeah. No, I liked your photos. We need to do family photos. It's about time.
You know, I should have let you. We have a photographer that comes into town every once in a while. Every time she's in, I'll let you know. But
yeah, please do. Those were good pictures.
I have a 2-year-old who refused to smile through the entire photo shoot. If you look at those photos, like 60% of them are just the kid looking absolutely upset or giving just dirty looks from across the way.
Did bribes for toys work at all with her?
No, not at all.
What about poop jokes?
All she wants to do is just throw rocks at people and things. That really feels like all she wants to do. So,
wow. Well, we got a softball player on our hands. All right.
Which is good because, a lot of softball monies can be made when you go pro.
Yes, it's a very lucrative career.
Yeah, I mean, I hear it's NFL, softball. That's kind of the pecking order.
Yes. Cricket, too.
Cricket, cricket fits in there somewhere. And I hear badminton.
No, that's real. Cricket makes tons of money.
Are you serious?
Yeah, tons.
Okay, I mean, I guess I'll just take your word for it. Because the cricket game in the United States is not
existent. Great. Yeah. Oh, great. Yeah, okay. No, cricket makes good money. Yeah. I think basketball's the highest paying. I think that's where you want to go, or baseball.
That sounds about right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But softball, it's time's coming.
Yeah. So your son made it all the way to the moon in Mario Odyssey. That's like one of the last stages, right?
It's the last. Well, okay. People that haven't played Mario Odyssey, it's been out since 2017. Great Nintendo game, wonderful title. Really enjoying my replay, but it's mostly me like helping my son get through it. It's really interesting how he plays the game because he likes to like look for things, and he'll get moons that I took a long time to find because I was searching for it, and he likes to kind of mow through and find them, He's like, okay. And then if a boss fight gets a little too intense for him, he hands it to Dad. And then I go through, or like I'll make him do the first phase of a boss fight. I'm like, you gotta get one hit on him and I'll take over. I just want to build his confidence up a little bit. But it's been fun. That game's so good. Mario Odyssey is really good. And the moon is the final phase of the first ending.
Yeah.
If you recall, you're going to get sent to a special castle, and then there's the dark side of the moon, and you have to get like I think 500 moons to go to that part. So we'll see.
The dark side. Well, I mean, he'll get there eventually, right? I mean, he has a whole lifetime to figure this out.
Well, yes, but Christmas is coming, and Luigi's Mansion has been repeatedly asked
I believe
for.
it's pronounced winter is coming. I believe is how it's pronounced.
Oh, no, and mine is Mariah Carey saying it. I'm bracing myself. All I want for I'm just hearing the music. As soon as Halloween was over, it was on in my house. My wife's like, is it too early to watch Christmas movies? Yes,
Well,
it
see,
is.
I normally make my wife wait until Thanksgiving is over, but
Same.
This year it's like, you know what, we've earned it. Why don't we just go straight to Christmas?
Hey, you know what? Yeah. Well, her and I were talking. So, yeah, we're playing Mario, my son and I, but her and I are talking about Animal Crossing.
Ooh.
God, I love that game. So for the next month and a half, we're gonna work on our village and make it a Christmas themed Wonderland for when Christmas comes.
Very cool.
And then when people get the game on Christmas Eve, Christmas, I'm gonna open my game up and just let people come to my island and give them presents and just make it like a really fun thing.
That's cool.
I've had this idea, yeah. So I'm gonna promote that for the next few months. But Animal Crossing is great. I made some progress in Tales of Vesperia. My World of Warcraft sub is almost gone. I've gotten 2 characters to max level though.
So what did it? What made you feel like, okay, I'm done with this for now? Like, what was the stopping point?
The expansion pack.
You got through the expansion and you're like, okay, I'm good.
The expansion's coming out. So the game released and like this is like in game. You can do everything. You get max level. They squished it. And what got to me, and I say this to my friends, and some of them are like, oh, that's a genuinely fair thought. And my other friend, my close friend Chad, who just wants me to play because that's all he plays is like pshaw. I feel like at this point, Blizzard's been in the game for so long, they should just be putting out content every few months, and expansions shouldn't be a thing. Like, I don't want to pay $40. Like, I have a huge backlog of games. We're gonna talk about that later today. Mm-hmm. And if I play WoW, it's kind of counterintuitive to what we're trying to do on this podcast because I want to play a lot of other games and review them. And it's fun, and I enjoy that. But like, I really don't. There's times where my friends can't play with it. The game's gotten so casual and easy. You can play with your friends at any time, and they've made a lot of great moves. But I just don't want to pay $40 for an expansion right now. Like the expansion, if it was $10 or $20 extra, sure. But if you think about it, if you do the math, it's $180 a year, right? 15 times 12, yeah. And plus $40, it's $210 for the year. I just was like, no, not worth it. That for me. I'm okay with $15 a month every once in a while. It's a good product. What they've done is great. The math they're doing so you could start a character and play with your friends at level 50 and they can power level you and do all this cool stuff is great.
Nice.
And if the expansion drops down to like $20 this summer, I'll probably buy it just so I can like randomly sub and play for a month with my friends or get you to play or get someone to play because it is fun. Like doing the instances and just getting powered through it. It's very casual now. Like you can play for an hour and feel like you've done a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And they appreciate your time, so they've done that. But there's just too many games for me to want to play. I don't like. I have other games I love too. And I here's the other thing about WoW: you can't really beat it.
Yeah.
I'm always chasing that dragon. Like there's no end.
Right.
There's no end in sight. Like I could do the content, but there's always gonna be more. Like it'd be like reading a book that never ended. You know what I mean? Like it would just be going on and on and on. Like I like a closing to a story at a certain point.
And that's kind of why I've never really gotten to MMOs in general because of that reason exactly. Like I don't want something that's going to last me a lifetime and forever like continue to go on. I want something that bookends. Like give me the beginning, the middle, and the end. Okay, finished it, put it behind me. And if I like it enough, I might give it a second playthrough. But I'm kind of like Sean in that I don't like to replay content a whole bunch.
See, it depends for me. If it's a really great game, like I've been wanting to replay Octopath for a long time, and I'm very tempted to replay Breath of the Wild with my son. But my wife thinks that might be a little too intense. I'm like, I don't know. I don't think so. Like, I think he can handle it because he plays Link to the Past on the SNES Mini, and he likes that. And I think he would be blown away by Breath of the Wild. I can climb that? I can do that? Like, just how he plays games. I would love to see. It would break him. He would never play another video game again, I think, too. This is the greatest game ever. But I get that too. Like I'm okay with if I 100% a game, I'm really cool walking away from it and knowing that I did that and I'm happy with it. I have a full feeling of the game.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and I think that's what it's all about. It's getting a feel for the game. It's understanding what the quirks are, and then for me, it's moving on. And I know that you and Sean played WoW for like many, many years, and it's nice to go back and probably it's like comfort food a little bit, I'm sure.
It was. It's a great game. Like, if people want to talk about one of the greatest games ever made, it's definitely in the conversation for what it's done. It's a phenomenon. You can't deny that. And I also, the thing I told my friends, and I'm going to sound super sappy, I just enjoyed playing with them. Like, it's been really cool. Like, oh, it's Friday night. Let's get the gang back together. Let's, like, we did some Battlegrounds the other night, and PvP was always my favorite thing. We got to stomp on some necks, you know? Like, that was the best. But I'm done for the foreseeable future with it. There's other games I want to play. Like, we got a website where you and I are trying to write reviews. We're trying to get those up in the next few weeks here, and I got other irons in the fire,
right?
You know.
Yeah, I completely understand that, and that makes sense. And you know, moving on from game to game. So you got Mario Odyssey, good. You're playing Tales of Vesperia. You still liking that?
Tales of Vesperia. I think I could. Oh, I love. It's fun. You know, it's good, and I get like the story starts getting really good, starting to ramp up because of certain character choices that are coming on. And I stopped because I want to play games with my friends. I also been playing Spellbreak. Spellbreak did a great update where there's 9v9 now. And it's respawns, so it's like a battle mode. And you compete red versus blue, and it's a whole map, and they've done one thing. Spellbreak's probably a game I'm going to play for a long time.
You're going to keep going back. Now, what's your rhythm with that game? Are you playing it consistently, or are you kind of just bouncing back and forth?
Like once or twice a week, I'll go in and I'll look at the like quests. Like right now, I'm just doing all the Pyromancer quests. You get like a skin from doing it. Like they're giving you incentives to play, and if you get the levels when you do like the get 300 damage with fire, do this move in the air, do this, you get tokens in the game, or you also get like, oh, you're level 2 in this part of the story, so now you get this character with the hood. Like you get a new skin.
That's nice.
So I like that they're rewarding the players for just playing the game, and it's a good game. It's not bad.
Yeah.
And I don't like shooters, and I like this. That's the thing. That's what stuck with me. You know?
Yeah. No, I hear you. That's good. That's a good little rhythm. You know, I kind of tried to get into another Battle Royale game just this week, and
well, yeah, I was going to ask you, speaking of getting rhythms, are you in rhythm with Shadow of War, or is the rhythm complete? Did you finish that dance?
The rhythm is complete. The rhythm is complete. I have finished the main story. I'm about 90% through on a couple of the other side quests as well. I really enjoyed that game.
Yeah.
I definitely see why it was not like Game of the Year material for a lot of people. It kind of feels like a fractured game to some extent, upon looking back on it.
Interesting. You're really into it. I remember last episode, like, I don't know why people didn't put this for Game of the Year, but maybe it's because you got to spend more time, and then you're like, they're not adding anything to the loop.
Well, no, because I mean, I feel like they do a lot of really interesting things in terms of mechanics. Like the way that they've integrated the Nemesis system is really interesting, and the way the inner politics work between the orc armies is really intricate and well done. But it has a hard time carrying the story fluently. Like it does not work well in terms of bouncing back and forth the different mechanics and then the story of the game. So I think that's where it falls apart for me personally. It feels like a very fractured game. Like I conquered all the fortresses, and then it was like, now I need to go up and mop up story quests, which seems counterintuitive. Like if I'm going through, those things should be coming together and moving in and out in terms of the entire package. So that's kind of where it fell apart a little bit for me. I think the combat is really good. The Nemesis system is awesome. I think the story is well done. Like I like what they cover in the story. It just feels disconnected from the Nemesis system they built. What feels like happened is they just like, hey, everybody loved this Nemesis system, so we're gonna go all in on that. And then they had to like come out of it and go, oh wait, we need to tack a story on somewhere in here.
They just kind of. I don't like that when they're like, we're going to put our flagpole to this and everyone will love it and not think of the complete product.
Yeah.
So you've been playing on Game Pass and you got your Xbox fixed, I assume.
Did,
right?
Yes. That happened.
So you finished on that. So on our system, is this a try it because you can get it on Game Pass, or would you table it for other games, or where
I would say try it. If you're somewhat interested in it and you liked the first one, like definitely give it a shot. You're going to like it. Like I enjoyed it. I don't know that I'd put it at the top of my priority list in terms of games
Okay.
to go for. So I'd say try it. Jump into it on Game Pass. Know that it took me a little while to get into it. So if you're kind of on the fence and you're like kind of lukewarm in the beginning, it does get better. But at the end of it, I kind of look back and say that was a great game. I wouldn't say it was one of the best games that I've played in recent memory. I will call out the last sequence in that story is really cool. Really cool, because you basically make your way through the game and you bump into these nemesis that continue to just ruin you time and time again. And then at the end, you basically make your way across this big bridge, and all of the enemies that you've had these personal vendettas with come at you. And then you have your army and those tentpole enemies that you've been fighting the entire time. It adds a lot of weight to it. It's a good way to wrap the game. I was impressed. Finished strong.
Well, it's good. I thought you were going to be really all about it, and then I'm surprised it turned. So now you were saying you were trying to battle royale yourself. What battle royale were you
I was trying to play the Modern Warfare, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the one that came out in 2019. That was the one that came with the what's it called? Warzone.
Warzone. That's their big battle royale that everyone's into right now.
Yeah, and it's kind of waned a little bit in terms of excitement. It had a much more steam this time last year, I want to say. So I'm coming to it a little bit late. And it turns out when you come to a Call of Duty game late, you get ruined by 12-year-olds all day, and that is what happens.
Oh, do you play with the voice chat? Do you hear them?
No, but I just assume
you?
Everyone's a 12-year-old if they're playing Call of Duty, which is a terrible assumption. I totally get it.
Well, my brother-in-law plays it, and he's a grown man, but I like to think of him as a man-child. So yeah, he's definitely 12.
Yeah, no, I just got ruined. There were a couple of times where I just rolled in there, and it was like, brrr, gone. I'm like, oh, that's fun.
Let me ask you, because I know you'll spell break. You're like, which one did you enjoy more, playing? Do you feel like
of
those two?
Of the two?
Yeah.
I would say Spellbreak because it was more. It seemed like it was more inventive in terms of the battle royale.
It's fun.
Yeah,
it's different.
I mean, I've played a handful of battle royales, like PlayerUnknown's. I played that. Apex. I played and enjoyed that.
I know you liked Apex. Yeah.
So Spellbreak was my third entry, kind of into that vein, and I really enjoyed it. But I'm good. I've done the battle royale thing enough.
You'll play Spellbreak with me though, no, right? With the 99s, we can just go. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like that you can just play on your Xbox and I can play on my Switch. It's a game that's the thing I miss from WoW. I think it goes back to that. I just want some friends to play games with. My son, it's great, but I can't. I need someone to help me carry the weight. I'm not the best shooter, man. Like I said. Yeah. I like to lay back. I need equal footing, right? It's like if I try to play Smash with him, I'm not going to get better. I'm just going to beat him every time,
Yeah, no, I enjoyed Spellbreak. I'll go back and play it from time to time, especially if I see you're on. Okay. Call of Duty though, I don't think I'm going to stick with it.
Not for you.
The reason I come to the Call of Duty games is for the campaign. I know I'm in the minority. I hear you now. Just COD multiplayer is not for me.
I think some people do enjoy the shooter campaign, the story. People did enjoy that in the past.
For sure.
Yeah, I don't think that's. Yeah, I think most majority likes the multiplayer, but I don't think that's unheard of to the story of the game. So then, okay, you tried that. Did you try anything else?
Yes, I also played a little bit of No Man's Sky.
What'd you play that on?
I played that on Xbox.
Okay, is that on the Game Pass right now?
Is that
on the Game Pass?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is on the Game Pass. And it's also in the cloud as well. So if I ever want to get on the cloud, I can.
See, now I feel really old because I'm like, if it's on Game Pass, isn't it on the cloud? Where's this cloud? So Sean's had a love and hate relationship with that game because he really pushed the idea of that game was they overpromised and underdelivered, right? And now they've made good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what are your thoughts? Is it as cool as it looks?
This is what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know if Minecraft is the right word. It's a survival game.
Oh.
It's one of those survival.
It's a sandbox.
Yeah, find the copper. You need to find the copper to build the wall, to make the base, to do this, to do that. So you're going out and you're foraging in an unknown landscape and you're trying to figure out what all these pieces are and you're bringing them back to camp and then you craft from that. And I just don't know that kind of game's for me. Like I've tried it a couple times.
Right.
Like I've tried Don't Starve. I enjoyed that. I've tried Subnautica, but I never really stuck with it, and I don't feel myself sticking with No Man's Sky. Just because of the loop is the loop is not something that I'm crazy about, and I'm also having trouble finding certain materials in the world. And it's not like telling me where I should go to get those, or like, hey, there's a bioscan here, go look in this area. Like, that's the kind of stuff that I need in order to go for the next accomplishment, right? What's next on my list? What do I need to check
Right.
off? And sometimes it's hard for me to get into that if it's not presented clearly. And No Man's Sky is definitely clearer than I think it was in the beginning, but at the same time, I'm trying to build like a hut, and then I'm trying to build a computer, and then fly off and do this thing.
Right. I want to build a spaceship, and I want cool spaceship stuff. I don't want to build a straw hut.
Right.
I don't want to be stranded on Beach Island. I want to explore space and be a space outlaw.
Yeah. I don't know. So maybe I just lack the imagination to truly like get into something like that. But for me, it's like, what's keeping me here? It's not going to be the story. It's like to build the next thing. Like I need to build the next thing to get clues to get the next material to build the next thing. And I really like the story aspects, and I don't feel like there's a huge story hook in terms of this game.
And the gameplay is not hooking you either, it sounds like.
Right now it's like, go out into the world. You have a gun to scan things and to break things down.
So let me ask: is this the next game you're going to play and beat? Are you going to beat this game, or are we going to talk about games you're going to choose?
I think we're gonna talk about games I'm gonna choose. I'm not on board with this game. Like I get it, I appreciate it. I think Sean would really enjoy this, especially with his Ark background. I think it's right up his alley.
He used to play it every year. He used to do a 24-hour stream of every year. So next week when he's back, we can talk to him about it. So, okay, what games do you have on the docket that you want to play that we're going to choose? Give me your 3.
Oh my gosh, this is like shot out of the cannon. I'm not sure if I'm ready for this.
Hit me with your best shot.
Okay. Okay, so I know one of them on this list is Resident Evil 7. Yeah,
Ooh,
RE7 is definitely on this list. Death Stranding?
Okay.
Because I really... just want to feel depressed.
If
like,
you want to feel really
enough
weird,
depression going
and
on,
confused, yeah.
I feel like that's on the list.
Okay.
Let's go the Gardens Between.
You told me about that last time. That's when we had Andy back on, Davion, and he said that sounded like a adult film. Or it sounds like that Zach Galifianakis show, like In Between Two Ferns and Garden Between.
Oh, yeah. In Between Two Firms is where it's at.
Okay, what was the first one before Death Stranding that you were saying?
RE7. Death Stranding. Apparently, I want something dark.
Yeah.
Like, these are all dark games. Well, I don't know if the Gardens Between is, but...
Okay. Because it's just me, and I'm sick and twisted, and I think Kojima is a crazy mofo. I want to know your experience. I want you to play Death Stranding. And I want to know how real those Monster Energy drinks look.
Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah, I can mess with that. I can play with a little bit of that.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Death Stranding it is. What have I done to myself?
I don't know what you've done to yourself, but I know what Apple has done with Microsoft.
What did they do today?
Let's talk about that in our
The Big Three News.
Okay, that was
That's the air horn.
That was actual air horn, not my voice. In our Big 3 news, Apple TV is coming to Xbox. And that on the new Xbox. And it's kind of a big deal. Apple TV has some great programming. Actually, because I use Apple TV also, because I'm in the Apple, ecosphere. Because I got the HD Apple TV, I got a free year of Apple TV, the subscription. I really want to watch that Ted Lasso show because I keep hearing good things about that. I think this is just one step closer. They're like, okay, you can have Apple TV on Xbox, and then you're going to let us put xCloud. Like, this is the trade that they're making, in my mind.
You think this is
it?
it?
Apple says, you put Apple TV on Xbox, we'll allow xCloud on our platform.
You know what? Like, it makes sense. It would definitely make sense. I don't know that Apple TV is going to get, like, similar revenue, though.
Oh, I think it's just saying, I think it's more of a statement like, hey, we're going to let each other live within our space.
Yeah.
And
then they also announced that Netflix, Disney Plus, HBO Max, Spotify, YouTube TV, Amazon Prime, Hulu, like all the big streaming apps will also be available on next-gen consoles. Sweet. That's good news.
Yeah, I mean, some of those, it's like, duh. And, like, some of it's new. You know, I'm curious to see what's going. But both Xbox Series X and Series X will have that, and as they said, too. But I really think this is just a move to show, hey, you're going to let our stuff on if we're going to let your stuff on. And because before, you couldn't watch Apple TV on a Microsoft system, right?
Right.
So
I don't know. I don't believe so, but
no.
I'm not sure exactly where that landed. You know, some of those consoles have some serious blind spots. Like, I know this makes sense, but you can't get Disney Plus on 360.
Right. Well, if 360
there's no app.
Or Xbox One.
Yeah.
Do people still use 360? I guess maybe people still use it for Netflix, right?
I fired mine the other day, or I fired mine up the other day just to play some Netflix on it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay, yeah. So
it's slow. Like, waiting for those load times. It's just like, I used to do this all the time. This is hard. Like,
no, I think this is like, we'll let you do this if you let you. It's just it's a sign of peace among the two factions.
It's a peace offering.
Yeah, like, okay.
Come on, let us on. I mean, it would be the smart thing to do because Apple's not really contending in that same realm with games, right? I mean, they don't have a storefront, right? If you have on your Apple computer, how do you go about buying games?
You dual boot Microsoft Windows.
Gotcha.
And you can play on Mac, and there's some game Mac, but most people dual boot. People that have Macs and game on them, they're dual booting their Mac, and they run Windows on their other thing. So it's like, you know, and Mac has the Apple Arcade, or Apple has the Apple Arcade, which I don't know anybody that still subscribes to it, but I know a lot of the games from Apple Arcade have moved to Switch. So.
But Apple Arcade is more of like phone-based games, right? Touchpad compatible games, and
but
like
no, not
Microsoft's
just that. Console games too. Like Enter the Dungeon had its sequel, Exit the Dungeon, and that was an Apple arcade game, and now you can get that on consoles. There's just a couple other games that are coming through it, but not every. It's mostly phone games. Right?
I mean, that's not like that's not like a AAA like wonderful graphics type game, you know.
It's indie titles. It's cool indie titles, and there's like niche ones that have interesting graphics. It's nothing that's like, well, like and I get Genshin Impact's changing the game with what a phone game looks like, right? So it's like, well,
yeah, the lines are all being blurred for sure.
I think it's a good move. Yeah. I think it's just how the ecosystem's moving, and you know, like Apple Arcade can't really compete with like Game Pass. It's trying to, and they're trying to make their own cute little games, but everyone wants to play the big boy games, you know?
Well, and one thing that I realized as I've been forced to play Xbox on my phone since my console went down is they're crafting that xCloud experience to be like just to play games directly from your phone with no controller.
For sure.
And I kind of played with that a little bit, not a ton, but a little bit when I was jumping from game to game, and it's a pretty seamless process. So if Apple wants to get into that ecosystem,
yeah, iPads would be perfect for that because people don't want to. Like, I would play a lot of games on my iPad because it's big, a big old screen in front of my face, and I could use those touchpads and be fine. And I'm sure someone will make something for it where you could like hook a. Oh my God! They make the Switch. No, I'm talking about they make two little controllers you put on the side, and they'd have motion controls that were pretty good.
Yeah,
but they would break. The buttons would break, and you'd have to send them in after 1,000 hours.
Well, yeah, that's part of the drift. That's what they're known for.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, right. Apple's drift.
Yes.
So I think that's a great move. You know what else is great? GameStop and what they're doing for their employees. Have you heard this? And can you hear the sarcasm in my voice?
Hey, no. GameStop's alive and well?
So I'm going to let you in on this article, and this was on The Gamer. GameStop is having a TikTok competition for its employees. Okay, it's like a big thing, and it's a Black Friday reward. So okay, let's play corporate. Okay, me and you're gonna play corporate.
Okay.
What would be the reward you, a corporate worker or head of corporate at GameStop, would give your employees?
The ability to not be fired.
Okay, that would be reasonable.
Or 5 plushies. If you do something good, you get 5 plushies.
Lifetime supply of Funko Pops. Or maybe they get a PS5 or an Xbox Series S or something, right? They get a console of their choice to take home on the thing, right?
Okay.
Okay, now let's take that. What's the dumbest, worst thing that can show they're out of touch that they do?
Give their employees Tamagotchis.
No, that would be better. That would be better than what they're doing. That would be better than they're doing. Employees want to work, right?
Right.
So if your TikTok video wins, you get 10 extra hours of work.
Wait, that's not real.
On Black Friday. Yes, go. Yes, I will read you the article.
Wait, what? That makes
GameStop
no
has announced that it's
sense.
running a TikTok competition across its stores, and one prize will appears to be 10 extra labor hours during Black Friday. So, hey, guess what? You won. You get to work more now.
No, that can't be right. That means they get compensated for 10 more hours.
The winners also receive... No. I think they get 10 hours on Black Friday. So stores... When I worked at GameStop, you get... And when you own... Like, you run those stores, you only have so many allotted hours you can give your employees, right?
Okay.
And they're drowning. Let's be real.
Yeah,
right?
GameStop's kind of in a tough place. Like, I don't know how they're going to survive this.
They're not.
And after my experience with my Xbox recently, like, I hate to, like, you know, further sharpen the axe, but dude, like, you didn't even try to plug in my console. Come on, guys.
Yeah. So maybe if they had those 10 extra hours, they could have. Point being, they could also win a Echo 8, Echo Auto, or our $100 Visa gift card, and 10 additional labor hours to use during Black Friday. So we'll give you 10 extra hours to use during Black Friday. Imagine what you could do with all those prizes, is what they say. And the TikTok videos are cheesy, as per usual. I just can't believe how out of touch this is. Like, we care about you so much. If you make us a funny video so people will be talking about GameStop and give us free advertisement, we'll give you more hours to actually go do your job.
I'm so confused. I so don't get this.
2020, dude. It's 2020. I'm like, oh, you know why I wasn't too surprised when I read that? I was this is on par for how this year is going.
This is just insane.
Accurate.
Oh, GameStop, just go, just be good. Just be good. Just like do good things.
Come on, do cool stuff. You know what I used to love about GameStop? And it leads us to our final story. Let's talk about the games that are coming out this month. I think that's what would be good. Because GameStop used to tell you when you go in there to buy games, they would trick you to pay $5 for a game that would come out in 5 months.
Oh my gosh.
Or next week, right?
I had so many pre-order bonuses that I never picked up.
Dude, you're that guy?
Well, I did it a couple times. And then the last time I was like, nope, not even going to pick it up. Whatever.
Some dudes will never even tell them. I would tell people when I worked at the store, like, hey, you have a bunch of pre-orders in here that are gone and past. And it would hurt me on the sales thing, but I didn't care because I wanted to do the right thing. Like, it's crazy. That was a racket. Maybe another reason why they're not doing well. All right,
you
some
personally
games.
Bankrupt the GameSpot. That's what I'm hearing.
Yes, I was the problem, not the outdated model. Assassin's Creed Valhalla is coming to the PS4, Xbox One, Series XS, PC, and Stadia.
Yes.
The new Assassin's Creed, the Viking Assassin's Creed. That'll be cool.
Heck yes.
And then it's going to be on PS5 2 days later. That's November 10th. Dirt, which is a race car game, coming to the Series X and S and PS5. And that looks pretty cool.
Oh, man.
And there have been...
That mud on the tires, just so beautiful.
I'm just... The only car game I like is Mario Kart, you know? I'm loyal. A game that is getting a lot of hype on the internet, Bug Snacks. I keep seeing memes and jokes about that. It's coming on PS4, PS5, and PC on November 12th. That looks kind of interesting. It has like a cute... Kind of reminds me of like... what was the Pinata game on... Viva Pinata?
Yeah, Viva. Yeah, Viva Pinata.
It kind of has that kind of look to it, if I were...
Is that how that... I mean, same thing? Like, you're trying to breed animals and stuff?
I have no clue. I just know, like, people like talking about it on the internet, and I have not looked into it. It's a puzzle-solving game. You carry out quests with Grumpus. And there's bugs... And the bugs talk like Pokemon in that they still say, like, they use
Grumpus
their
is
name.
where it's at.
Demon Souls.
Give me more Grumpus.
The PS5 version, the new HD one. Spider-Man, Miles Morales, which I've been seeing clips of that where you can wear your Miles from Into the Spider-Verse. Like, you have that costume and it's that same cel-shaded drawing in the game. I was like, whoa. Hopefully, I'm sorry if that spoiled it for people. It's not like a story spoiler, but it's a cool feature. And I would wear that the whole time. Godfall, coming out for PS5 and PC. That is the looter slasher by Gearbox. And it's set in a world divided into 5 elements: fire, water, earth, air, and spirit. It's kind of like Airbender. It sounds like Avatar. That looks kind of cool. That's a game that I would be interested in. Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. Kind of a bad timing to talk about the Cold War.
When is it a good time to talk about the Cold War, though? I mean, let's be real. I don't think there is a good time.
I think if they did this 10 years ago, I think it would have been fine, to be honest with you. Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. It's getting a lot of hype. I am putting that on my Christmas wish list.
Is that right? It's
a Dynasty Warrior game that I've been hearing, like, the Zelda game hiding as a Dynasty Warrior game. Like, it's more Zelda.
Didn't they already do like Zelda-based Destiny Warriors though?
They did Hyrule Warriors.
Yeah, there you go.
Which is what this is based. Like, it's the same thing. This is Hyrule Warriors, But this is Age of Calamity. This is a prequel to Breath of the Wild. It's how everything went down and how Link got into his 100-year sleep.
Huh. Okay. I can see that. I mean, that seems like something interesting enough.
Yeah. Some other ones, the Destiny 2 new Beyond Light thing. I don't know. I don't know anybody that plays Destiny anymore. I know people that all say they love it, and then I'm like, you still play it? And they say no. I'm like, okay, well, there you go. It's a free-to-play game. But I'm hyped for... everyone's talking about these games right now because of the consoles are coming out in 2 weeks. You know?
Yeah, they are. Here we go. New consoles. Strap in. Here it is, baby.
Strap in, baby. That's what I said this week earlier, at the beginning of the week.
New technologies. Let's go. Yeah, I'm excited to see these games running on new consoles, and nothing like that really blows me away. The Miles Morales sounds cool, but everything else we'll have to wait and see what it looks like on those new consoles.
Yeah, the Assassin's Creed will be kind of interesting. Are you still going to wait in line for a new console?
I'm going to do what I can to get a new console. I'm going to do everything I can to get a new console. Because it's time. It's time. And there's a couple of games that I'm holding off playing until those new consoles come out and then they get new gen updates. Like Control has been on my list for a while. I'm kind of intentionally avoiding that because when I get that new console, I'm going to want something to play. And I don't think that Control update's coming out until late winter.
That's coming to the Switch.
Control is?
Yeah, like it's called the cloud version. You can play it on the cloud. It's like they were promoting. Nintendo did a direct like last week.
Nice.
And they announced a bunch of cool new games. We talked about Bravely Default. I finally got it too. I got a date for that. So got some things in the pipeline myself.
Bravely Default.
Well, I'm glad we're talking about games because that brings us to our final segment. Because we've been talking about how this podcast started and we had this whole backlog challenge. And how it was a fun thing, but we wanted to change it. And then I was thinking about with Christmas on the line, like, we want to do a challenge among our friends, right? Or Shelby, you lead this dance. How did you bring up this idea? And we're calling this new segment.
We're calling this the segment to come. So I was just kind of thinking about where this podcast originated. And we started with a backlog challenge, and that was fun because we were racing through games. And it added a sense of urgency, a sense of excitement. Then we kind of went away from it because we didn't have the opportunity to truly like breathe in the games and truly experience them. So we kind of went away from it.
Because we decided we want to go into the reviewer realm, right? Like that's where we're kind of pivoting to.
Yeah.
But we still want to do our own silly little things, right? At the same time, because we're not going to compete with the big guys. We're not going to be playing the new all the time.
Yeah.
Because we're busy gamers.
Not today.
We're busy adults.
Yeah. One day. So what I called Casey about earlier this week was, what if we did like a gaming draft? Like, what if we somehow assembled a list of like 5 games per person and we all kind of went through and tried to play through those lists. And at the end of that draft, a cash payout for whoever got to their list first.
And Shelby knows I love to gamble. So I was like, okay. And I love drafting. I love fantasy football. So that was like, as soon as you said it, my eyebrows were up.
So I kind of like that idea because you have that forward momentum. You have some excitement. We could bring on guests that are friends and kind of say, okay, have you knocked anything off your list? What was it? Give us your input on that game. I think that's a cool idea. What I was also thinking is like, how do we totally flesh out our backlogs? Like, are there any blind spots that we have in terms of a backlog that we should be adding to our backlog?
Right. I was thinking about that too. Like, do you remember when you used to let your friends borrow your game? Like, hey, here, try this game. And then you're like, oh my God, this game's amazing because your friend at school had it.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about that too in that aspect. Like, how could we get that element involved where it's like, oh, I know Casey has a Switch and I have this game for the Switch and I would like him to play it. So I'm going to let him borrow it. Right? I'm going to give someone a game to play from my library maybe. Something like that. I was thinking about that. So... But this is your brainchild. I have some ideas, so I want what you're thinking. What you said you had a big thought.
I did have a big thought because what I was thinking is, what if we start assembling a list of must-play games to some extent, and then we have to pick games off of it, right? So there are a couple ideas went through my head. It's like, one, every person that we interview, they have to add one game that they think is a must-play.
Okay.
And then we start creating a pot in which we draw from in terms of adding to our backlog.
Okay.
Now, it's going to take some time to build that up. The other thing that I was thinking is if we did some D&D dice rolling we could play with like years, right? So we're gonna roll 2 dice, and it looked like it landed. You rolled a 8 and a 0. So now you have to pick out a game from '09 or
Okay.
90 off the
Okay.
best of list.
So, okay, I like these ideas. And I like the idea of each round that we draft has a different theme, right? Like, round 1 is how, you know how, like, when we beat a game, we give 3 and everyone picks, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's round 1. We're doing from our personal backlog games we want to play, right? Round 2, we're rolling the dice. Round 3, we're pulling from the pot. Round 4, you're borrowing from a friend.
That's fun. I like that.
Yeah. So then it's keeping that idea alive, but it makes the challenge, because then it's not being me like, I have 10 games from Christmas and here, tell me which order to play it, because we're gonna do that anyway, right? So give me something that I haven't played or can't play or do something different with, right? So that's my thought on that. I think we got to keep it, because we both have I still have a sizable backlog, and we have the holidays are coming. I know I'm going to get more games. I know I'm getting a lot of eShop money in my future, and I plan to use it because I'm always looking for the sales, and I like to get. I don't want to say I do like to get quantity, I guess, but there's a couple games in the pipeline I want to play. So, I think what we have to agree to is how many games are we doing is the race to.
So how many people are in the draft?
Well, I know you and I would do it. Sean's not going to do it. I know Sean. I love Sean. He like, no, too much
Sean's
pressure.
just going to be like, no, I'm like totally out. Not going to happen.
Yeah. I think we could get Dr. Zubat to do it.
Yeah.
I think we could get Chappie to do it.
Yeah.
And then we can maybe fish around for a couple others. But I think...
What about Dr. P?
Dr. P?
Dr. Pemberton.
Oh, Robert Pemby?
Yeah.
Have you been talking to him?
No,
Is
but
he a
I'm
doctor?
sure he'd be all. No, but I'm sure he'd be all over this.
Yeah, I don't know if he listens to the podcast. I love Pemby.
I don't know that he even exists yet, but I mean, like, it's something that we could see if he'd wanted to do. And I think at that point, once you have those people, whether they're on or not, we just pick 5 games, and the first one to the top wins the pot.
So I think having 4 to 8 people, right, is the number. If we have 4, we can do it. If we have, I don't want like 10 people. It gets like too crazy, right?
I think 8 feels crazy too.
So maybe 4 to 6, right? Okay,
Yeah.
so 4 to 6. 8 is gone. Okay, so
yeah.
I think we got 2, and I think we can convince a couple others to do it with us. That being said, okay, now let's talk about the rounds. I'm writing this out.
Oh, you're writing this out. It's getting official now. So I think we do how many? 5?
I think 5 is fine. I think 5 is a solid number. And I was going to say 3 because we do the big 3, but 5 would make more sense for games, because if we're going to do 5 different rounds and it's a
5
draft.
rounds.
So, okay, I'm 5 rounds.
So I think that the first 2 you get to choose.
Okay, first 2 rounds?
Yeah. You don't like
I
that?
say let's make the first round. Make the first round.
Okay.
Or, okay.
No, let's put the you choose at the end.
Yes.
Yeah,
okay, so
you
round
choose can be at
5
the end.
is personal choice. Yeah, let's do this backwards. Round 5 is personal choice.
Yep.
Okay, round 4.
I like the themes. I think we come up with some fun themes.
Well, it's 2020, so should post-apocalyptic be a theme?
Yes. So
Okay.
post-apocalyptic theme. I like that.
Post-apocalyptic. You have to play a post-apocalyptic game or have something with it? Okay, we'll put that as a maybe.
Yeah,
Round
something
4.
in the apocalypse. I like that.
Okay, round 3 would be Dyson Year.
Yeah, Dyson year.
Yeah, okay.
And that's anything from, do you want to go 90s? 90s to...
I think you can go 90s to
2020.
To 2020, and
30-year span.
And so they're gonna roll a d20, and then they can choose, like, okay, you ended in 09, so you can choose, or you ended in 9, you can choose 99, 19, or 9. I think actually you just use you use a 10-sided die.
Yeah, I would say you could like just roll a dice until you hit 0 through whatever 1, 2, 0.
9, 0 through 9. Or we can use a random thing. We can use there's programs for that.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Dyson Year. Okay, round 2, I think it should be borrow from a friend.
But how much physical media can you really blend out right now?
Man, I'm not scared of getting COVID from you, but
I ain't scared of no ghosts.
I ain't scared, homie.
Okay. Yeah.
It could be you can mail it. Well, actually, I don't trust anything in the mail anymore. That could age differently after tonight too. So you can borrow. All right, round one is list and vote. Right, our normal go-to. Right, list 3 and vote.
Okay.
So like you'll list your 3, and then the people doing the draft will say you have to play this one. Right.
So we have list 3 and vote. We have post-apocalyptic, but we have dice, and the last one's you choose. So we're looking for one more.
So you don't like the borrow one, okay? Because I was trying to pawn Octopath onto someone.
Yeah, no, and like, but you have to also. Well, I guess the people that we have considered for the draft would all have all those consoles.
Minus me.
Well, no, I mean like a Switch specifically.
Yeah, someone would have to think of a Switch game for me that they have. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we'd have to draw straws for like who gets who.
Or we could just like do it like a round, like. Depending on who we have in the draft, you go alphabetically, and then the first person chooses for the second person,
right,
person
something
chooses
like
for the
that.
third
Yeah.
person.
Yeah, we can figure that out as we get closer to it. But like, yeah, like I choose for you, you choose for Dr. Z chooses for someone, and then it's done, and then it gets to the end, right?
And then that way we have 5. And then what's the price point? Is it $20?
I think that's fair. If there's 5 of us and it's $20, it's $100.
I
think. Hold on. I think first place should get 80, and second place should get their money back.
Oh, geez. Softy over here, huh?
I think if second place, you should get, if you break even. And then last place should have to buy everyone a round of Daddy Sodas.
Deal.
Okay. I think that's a nice, fair thing. And apps. I like me some mozzarella sticks.
Well, are we even going to come into last place? I guess
someone
so.
has to.
When the first person ends, then we start tallying up. When
Yeah.
the first person wins, we see who's beat what.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Okay. And I think we'll do this draft over the winter break. I want to have a bunch of content come out over those 2 weeks.
Okay. Well, I mean, we can either do these like interviews one-on-one, like 20-minute segments, like where we run through each of these, or we can do them all at once.
Yeah. I think we do the whole round so it's set up, and then at the beginning of the year everyone knows, hey, this is what you have, this is what I have, this is what this has, right? All that.
There we go.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that's it for the show.
Hey, yeah, it is. We are at the end of our show. Thank you so much for being with us here tonight. Appreciate it. Casey, anything that you want to add before we send this thing out?
Just stay strong out there.
Stay strong.
Take it one day at a time.
Hold on to your faith in humanity, folks. We're gonna get through this.
We're here.
Gonna get through this.
All we need is love right now, right?
Love is all we need, baby.
Yeah,
love is all we need. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being here with us tonight. If you'd like more of us, check us out on Twitter at underpoweredpod, on Instagram at under.powered. Check out our website, underpoweredmedia.com. Feel free to shoot us an email at emails@underpoweredmedia.com. And also, we're on Discord. Check us out. Chat. We're talking some video games sometimes. We out.
Play your games.